Hi. The message that's coming through today is all about toxicity. It's about toxicity. That was a weird smiling when I said that. Toxicity. It's not a cheery thing. But I am excited about what Spirit's showing this morning in the energy. Because what Spirit's showing and the message that we're getting right now at this point in our journey, the message that we're ready for, the lesson that we're ready for, that you're ready for, is that toxicity is not something that can kind of get you from the outside anymore. Because it's not something that you're going to be only seeing in relationship, and therefore it's not something that you're going to be running away from. Because what's being shown now, as you are surrendering, as you already have surrendered, unhealthy relationships. I just want to focus on this image for a second because, he's forging a heart in flames. And it's sort of a brand, too. It's like you've been branded. You've been branded by the toxicity that you've seen in relationships. But as you've been working with that, seeing that, as you're now ready to really look at it, like he's really focusing on it right here, you're going to see now that it is not something outside of you that holds power over you or that you have to escape. That's actually good news. I know, Spirit saying you're not going to escape toxicity might sound scary at first, especially if you've had a lot of experience with toxic relationships. But it's not scary because what it's leading you into is the recognition of the shadow of the toxicity within yourself and the ability to work with it, forge it, mold yourself to be able to deal with it. Okay? So that's really exciting. It's very empowering. It is scary to look at that shadow side and that, toxicity, if you want to call it that, within yourself. But it's also extremely empowering because you then can come into the ability to work with it and to be this forger, this person who can work with this being, who can work with the fires of divine energy and healing and transmute that darkness and toxicity into something really strong and wonderful and really unconquerable. Okay. So first, not at this point, it's not first, but at this point, I'm being guided to add that when we're talking about toxicity, it is never okay to be mistreated or abused in any relationship. So just, that right off the bat. It is, and so when you see toxicity in something, when you see a dynamic in your life where you're being hurt over and over again, first, you definitely get away from that. Secondly, what you're going to do, or what you probably have done at this point if you're receiving this message, is you're going to recognize the ways that you've been allowing or there's been a receptor in you. Okay, so that is not victim blaming. That is not, you're responsible for anything that bad that's happened to you in a relationship. That is simply recognizing, where do I have the receptors in me to even receive that reflection of that darkness? And how did they get there? And those receptors could have gotten there through karma. They could have gotten there through your past lives. It might not have been in this lifetime. It is certainly, no matter if it's this lifetime or another lifetime, not your fault. Not your fault. But one thing that we are conditioned to do, externalize and purge out on the external that which we're going to continue to see pop up again and again on the internal. So if you are at this point in your journey, and I'm walking along with you, where you're recognizing, okay, I see these shadows inside me. I see these ego limitations, these false beliefs, and this toxicity, this shadow, this real enemy within. I see that now, and I see the ways that I've used relationships and other people to be that for me. Because we really assign that out. Our ego loves to do that. Our egos love to say, okay, my story says I need to suffer in this way. Okay. But it would be kind of boring and no fun to just make myself suffer in that way all by myself. Plus, I live in the world where there's other people. So I'm going to just outsource this. I'm going to go ahead and delegate. This is the person that's going to treat me in this way, because that is the treatment that my ego says that I have to have. That is the energy, the expression that my ego says that I need to be, and this person will be the co-star that helps me be that. Okay. And whatever that suffering looks like, if it's, I'm the one who always carries the burdens, or I'm the one who always ends up, getting left behind, or I'm the one who always ends up getting mistreated, I'm the one who always ends up being treated unfairly, or I'm the one who always has to be the strong one, or I'm the one who always has to be the one who takes care of things. Whatever that story is, you can look around now, and congratulations, because you're seeing it, and see the ways that all the people in your life, especially the key people in your life, have been cast by your ego to reflect that to you, and to take care of that perpetuation of the suffering on you. Okay. And now the great news for everybody is that coming into this awareness, you can now free them from that little by little, because it does take some time and some learning. Okay, we're no longer doing that. We're doing something else now. But you can free them from that, and you can free yourself from that. And that's what's happening now. And there's only one barrier standing in the way. And it's not really a barrier, but it is the illusion of a barrier, because it's the moon. And the moon represents those things, those shadows, those things we are afraid to really look at head on in the light of day. And what do you feel that thing is that you're most afraid of? What do you feel that thing is that you're like, I got one more thing to look at? And once I look at this, all those roles, all those dramas of toxicity within myself being played out, being reflected by these other people, are going to end. Well, that thing, that barrier, that fear is actually of your own worth. That's what Spirit's saying. Because the Queen of Pentacles, and this is a wounded feminine energy that's afraid of that worth. That's why it's showing up as the Queen. Although you can definitely experience this in a masculine body. So, just energies are energies, gender is gender, and they're two different things. Or they can express, both energies can express through any gender. And actually both energies express through both genders, okay? But it's important to realize that this is what you're afraid of. Your own worth. You're afraid of stepping into the fullness, the full expression of your true worth. And again, not your fault. Being afraid of this is not your fault. This is the result of, many, many generations and lifetimes, and this lifetime of conditioning that says, no, you can't step into that worth. No, you can't express in that fullness of you. If you do, you won't be embraced by the others. If you do, you'll be rejected. If you do, you'll be abandoned. Okay? So that is a fear that you're facing now, but you're ready to face it. Got a beautiful synchronistic bird sitting here, just like very, very right there in front of us. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Just confirming the truth of this message, okay? And confirming that you're about to move into this expansive freedom. When you see this and when it clicks and when you are like, oh, and you say, oh yeah, okay, I am ready to step into this worth. I'm tired of being afraid of it. You will feel this huge lift as you step up into that. Okay. But the biggest thing, and you've done this, if you're resonating with this message, you've absolutely done this, is that you have recognized that it's not about the other person, and that other person or people have served as the mirror for the ways that you have been afraid to step into your own worth. Those other people or person has just served as the mirror to your own shadows, your own toxicity. You are your own worst toxic partner. And you are your own most worthy, wonderful partner. And that's where we go back to both energies expressing through you. Because you are your own masculine and feminine energies. And now that you're moving into your worth in that, and now that you are releasing the need to have that toxic, wounded energy of the masculine or feminine reflected to you in partnership, now you can move into healed, balanced wholeness. And now you can move into healed, balanced wholeness in your relationships, because it will just be effortlessly reflected back to you. I love this message so much. So the realization is that if you can be both your healthiness and your toxicity, and you can recognize the way that you are both and the ways that both are reflected to you in your relationships, and that's all it is that reflection and that mirror, that you have been projecting out both the wonderful and the not so great aspects of yourself just to be reflected back to you, well, then you can step into, so I get to choose what is reflected back to me. Well, I'm going to choose to embrace and nurture those most healed, most worthy parts of myself. And then I'm going to get that reflected back to me. And you know what? That shadow aspect, that toxicity, it's really not going anywhere. It's not going to leave. It's always going to be part of your human self. That's just part of our human condition. Sort of like gravity. If it wasn't, we just float off into the ether and be fully enlightened and evolved. But there is not going to be the need for you to outsource and delegate and have reflected back to you that shadow aspect as much. Maybe at times just to remind you, hey, I'm still here. You need to deal with me. You need to work with me. Because that aspect of you does need to be recognized. It does need to be seen. And when it demands to come up, and that will be a separate video, but when it demands to come up, in the form of worry, in the form of anxiety, then it does need to be seen and then helped in a way. So it's like, if that shadow aspect of you flares up and, hey, there's not anybody to reflect this to me. It's only just me and me dealing with this energy now. Can't play out the drama with somebody else. Yeah, but you can do that. You can do that because you now have the tools and the awareness. And you know that it's just about moving away from the behaviors that and the actions and the interactions that would perpetuate the pain that shadow can cause, the pain that devil within can cause. And now it's time for you to focus on, what do I want to draw in? What do I want to see? And so what you're going to do is be that best partner within yourself, that most worthy energy within yourself, that Queen of Pentacles or King of Pentacles or both within yourself that you want to see reflected back to you. And then just watch the ways that it is, let go of the mental perceptions of how it needs to be, and just enjoy that. Okay. If this resonates with you, I would really like to hear about that, because this is coming through very strongly from Spirit today, and I know it's intended for at least a couple of people that it's reaching. So please let me know if that's you, and we will connect again soon. Have a wonderful day.